Guys, I know this film is 75 years old and probably doesn't need a spoiler warning, but I still think you should go out and watch this film without me spoiling everything. And with that, you have been warned. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf. I am your host, Roman HG, and this week, what we found off the shelf was... Rashōmon, released in 1950, directed by the legendary Akira Kurosawa. It was an adaptation of a short story or a short story collection called In a Grove. I believe that is the story name. It was also starring Toshiro Mifune, he's a Toshiro Mifune. I believe I'm saying that properly. I'm sorry, I don't know how to properly pronounce Japanese names. He's in a lot of Kurosawa movies. Actually, I think in most of the Kurosawa movies I've seen, he's in a lot of them. And for damn good reason. He's really good. This film is like a murder mystery, but different. And I think this whole review is just going to be me gushing about this movie because it's just so fucking good on so many levels. And I'm not really going to analyze too much. I'm just going to say what I thought was great about it. And I think one of my first things about it is, one, the film was fucking beautiful, right? I mean, a Kurosawa movie, that's like a guarantee that the film is going to look visually striking, right? Just like his black and white films, I think in color they would look worse. I'm just saying, like, the black and white is so rich, and it just, I don't know, there's something about it that just, I guess, adds to the usually dreary and very, I guess, kind of gloomy nature of his films, but they're also, like, I guess, strangely in the same breath, they're also beautiful at the same time. It's hard to describe. And this is the same way here. This film is very dark and gloomy, with a surprisingly somewhat hopeful ending, but still, the whole time, it's very confusing and very much just really a study in a analysis on human nature and reality versus perception. And all of that, and all of those and all of that theming. And I think it just does it so well, to the point where, this film's premise was so unique and genius that it spawned an entire plot device named after it called the Rashōmon effect, which if you haven't heard of it, you probably have definitely seen it, where, there's a bunch of characters, where they were involved in an event, but they all have different, retellings of that event that are all wildly different from each other. And this movie started it. And honestly, this movie, I mean, being their originator, of course it's going to do it the best. But I love how, because usually in, like, other movies that use the Rashōmon, or TV shows or whatever, whenever they use the Rashōmon effect, they always usually have, like, the concrete truth revealed at the end. This one does not have a concrete truth. While there are stories that are more believable than other ones, it doesn't mean they're the concrete, this is the factual truth. And I love that. Because the first story is told by, Mifune's character. And of course, it portrays him as this, like, evil and very, I guess, intimidating, threatening, maniacal bandit, right? That's had an epic duel with this samurai, and he said, oh, he crossed me 23 times with his sword. Nobody had ever crossed me over 20 times, right? Basically hyping himself up the whole time, right? He, you know, duels this samurai and he beats him, and then he steals his girl, right? He steals his wife, and, you know, he's basically, the whole story is just to gas him up. But it's still the whole case of, I killed this guy. So he's I guess giving his testimony to a court, right? And that's his story. That, yeah, I killed this guy, right? And I'm proud about it. I was really cool about it. Essentially, he wanted to make himself look better, and that's the case for every other story, including the factual one. Well, but I'll get to that. So the second one is the wife's retelling of events, where it is nothing like the bandit story whatsoever. Essentially, the bandit just ran off, right? Like, basically before anything happened. And she, was very pure in this story. She was very emotional, and the husband was very cold and very harsh, but without saying a word. I think this film is very good at wordless storytelling. I very much enjoy that aspect of it, right? But here's the thing. She doesn't accuse anyone like the previous story with the bandit. It's told, the way she tells it, she passes out, she faints, and then when she awakes, her own dagger is stabbed into the heart of the husband, which obviously means she killed him, right? And also, who would lie about that? Who would lie? Or, yeah, like, why would you lie about murdering someone? Obviously, if you're lying, you would want to lie about not murdering someone, right? And even then, it's even crazier, because the guy who's murdered, the samurai, the husband guy, even he has his own retelling of the story through a medium, right? And even he is like, well, they said they killed me, but actually I killed me, right? After my wife betrayed me and told this bandit to kill me, but then the bandit was so disgusted, he asked me if he should kill her or spare her, right? Because he was so disgusted by her treachery, right? And then the bandit lets him go after chasing her, and she gets away. But then he's just so heartbroken by, his wife's betrayal that he takes his own life, right? But then again, who would lie about killing himself? Especially in this era, that's very dishonorable, right? Is to take your own life out of, well, I guess, dishonor. I guess he had been disrespected, right? So much to that point. And they all seem believable because, again, why would you lie? But then the final story wraps it all back around, because the reason they lied is because they all look terrible in the truth, right? They all look terrible because the bandit was an awful bandit. The samurai was terrible to his wife, so she had every reason to not like him. And the wife was not pure in the slightest, right? So they all had reasons to lie to make themselves look better in the story that they told. But the genius of it all is even that story may not even be true, because the woodsman, the woodscutter, who had been the main narrator, there was also a priest, but he was like the central storyteller alongside the priest, reciting the events that had happened. Even he had a reason to be untruthful, because the dagger that I mentioned earlier that the wife had, it was a very, lavish, very stylish dagger. It was a lot of money, it had a lot of value, so he stole it and he sold it. So, obviously, he had reasons to embellish things to make himself look better and make them look worse. So even he has grounds to lie, and it's just so good because you can't trust anybody. And that's what I love about it. It leaves it completely up to interpretation, because you could say any of those stories were true and have a decent argument, right? You could believe any of them, and you can't be wrong, because there is no right? It's all up to interpretation, which I know I say all the time, but interpretation is one of my favorite things about art. That's what makes art beautiful. That's what makes art special. And I think this truly is one of the most unique film experiences, one of the most unique murder mystery films I've ever seen. Because it's not even really a murder mystery. It's a murderer mystery, right? Which is like, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it's just, the twist on it is so goddamn genius and brilliant. And I just fucking love this film so much. And again, there's other things I could gush about. Like, I really love, like, obviously, the acting is great, right? I love how whenever they're crazy, they really ham it up, but not in a bad way. Like, they laugh and they, like, spin all over the place and they get all dramatic. But this is a dramatic movie. There's a lot of, like, drama in it. But it doesn't feel, like, superficial, I guess, if that's a good way to put it. Like, it all feels very natural. Like, the drama all feels really well built up. And I don't know, I really like the parallels. I really like just the whole thing. I don't know what else to say. I just love the whole goddamn thing. And I could gush about this movie all day, but I won't, because again, even though I've basically spoiled some of the best parts of the movie, you should fucking watch this movie. Absolutely. This film is a goddamn classic. There is a reason why this film is considered one of the best films of the 20th century. Well, one of the best films of all time, not just the 20th century, but also one of the most influential films of the 20th century. It's just so fucking good. I don't know what else to say. Like, just watch it and you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, I know film is subjective, but I think if you watch this movie and say it's bad, I just can't trust you. Okay, I don't trust you as a person, or as a critic, whatever. I'm just going off on whatever. But with that being said, I know I've been gushing about the whole film the whole time. But you might say, Ronan, what do you rate this film? And I don't think this is hyperbole. I think this is just genuinely how I feel. This film, I believe, is a 10 out of 10. And yeah, I think that's what I say. I think I'm in peace. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Share your friends, subscribe, turn those notifications on, comment down below how much you liked it. And I'm Ronan HD, off to tell my version of events. So, I was doing research on this film, and what really surprised me was, even though this film is, like, acclaimed now, everybody gushes about how amazing this film is, because it just is, but it really surprised me that when this film first came out, Japanese audiences were kind of mixed on it, especially critics. They were not, they didn't hate the film outright, but I think they just thought it was whatever. They just thought it was mediocre, which is insane to me, but I think it's just, like, a common thing with, like, such incredible, like brilliant films that were so ahead of their time. There's a reason they're called ahead of their time, because at the time, they just don't get it. But it's also not really, because Western audiences fucking loved it. Western critics were like, this movie's incredible, right? This movie's amazing. Western critics, like, raved about it. It got an honorary award at the 24th Academy Awards. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think Japanese audiences were just the only audience to not get it. Not even just American, just the whole world loved it, but Japan was like, it's not that good. It's kind of weird to me. I told my version of the truth, guys.